Of all the base mechanics in zombies, few are as important as the perk system. Everyone has their favorite, everyone has their least favorite. With how integral the perk system is to the mode, and how important it is to the player's enjoyment of playing the mode, it begs the question, what is the next perk system gonna look like? There are more takes on the zombies perk system than we have ever seen before. So what lessons have we learned so far? Well, the classic perk system gives us that incredibly addicting and replayable sense of in-game progression and the power crawl that we all know and love. Infinite Warfare actually has a notable innovation here. They expanded the perk limit to 5 instead of 4 and gave players the ability to remove perks. And then Black Ops 4 happened. Black Ops 4 allowed for the largest variety in perk abilities and playstyles that we have ever seen in zombies. Unfortunately, this came with the cost of player progression. Moving forward to Cold War. The Cold War perk system reunited the community with that familiar and addicting power crawl. Not only that, but they expanded upon this with the Ethereum Crystal system, an external progression system where you can upgrade those perks. Vanguard took that tier upgrade system from Cold War and tried to put them in-game. Unfortunately, it feels rather shallow and doesn't leave a lot of room for expansion. So where do we go from here? With such a vast array of different unique takes on the perk system, which one do we use as a base to go forward? Personally, I think the classic perk system has run its course and is kind of boring now. Black Ops 4's perk system won't ever be innovated on. According to my community poll, Cold War's perk system sounds like the best place to start. The problem is, there are currently 10 perks available at the end of Cold War's lifecycle. So if we were to get a sequel to Cold War, would we start with those 10 perks, or would they take some away and re-release new perks within the game's lifecycle? But if we keep the same 10 perks that we have in Cold War, are they going to expand it even further? Are they going to add even more perks? How many perks are they going to allow us to have without becoming too powerful? Many people believe that because of this perk system, the player is too powerful as it is. And as Hidden Xperia said, some players don't like the external progression system that Cold War had, which is where Vanguard comes in and tried to fix that problem by making all of those perk tier upgrades in-game. The problem with that was that this is a pretty bare bones version of tier upgrades. There's only one ability per perk. Now, we can fix that pretty easily by just copy-pasting the perks and the tiers from Cold War to Vanguard. But then you get to the next problem with Vanguard's perk system, and that's how expensive it is to buy all of your perks. Granted, we could rebalance the points, maybe we make it salvage instead of points, maybe there's in-game challenges instead of anything else. But then again, challenges, like I said, might be too tedious to do every single game to upgrade your perks every single game. Points and salvage might not feel satisfying enough. Personally, the perks in Vanguard feel very similar to Black Ops 4's Pack-a-Punch system. Each level of the Black Ops 4 Pack-a-Punch didn't feel that different than the previous one. Now, multiple Pack-a-Punch system works in Cold War because of how big of a difference and how expensive each Pack-a-Punch level is. And then you gotta talk about what if we wanted to add a perk into Vanguard? That's another 15,000 points that the player has to dish out. That's not exactly balanced, at least in its current state. And then we have to ask ourselves, honestly, is this in-game progression a compelling power crawl, or is it tedious and repetitive? Is the Ethereum Crystal system better? Even if we rebalanced Vanguard's perk system and it was balanced for expansion of perks and each perk tier wasn't too tedious to upgrade, think about it this way. There are currently 10 perks in Cold War. If the player had to upgrade each perk in-game by going to the machine and paying it like we do in Vanguard, that is a total of 30 perk transactions per game. And to me, that just sounds so overwhelmingly tedious. So yeah, personally, I like the Ethereum Crystal system better. Like I said in that Hidden Xperia video, I think it does wonders for the long-term progression of zombie players. I think it keeps players coming back to the mode itself. Another thing about Cold War, a lot of people don't like the fact that there is no perk limit. They think it makes the player too strong. However, going back to a perk limit would cause all sorts of issues. We would see the return of crutch perks, and balancing the perks would be terrible, and how many do you allow players to have, and it's just, I've made that hour-long video already, you can watch it here. I genuinely have no idea what the future of the perk system is going to be, and I have no idea what I would want it to be. I know that I'm the happiest with the Cold War perk system. I think it had the best sense of progression both in-game and externally outside of the game that kept me coming back. I think it was the most fun, and because of how powerful each one was, that sense of progression was even more satisfying than with the classic perk system. And there's the argument that the balancing factor of not having a perk limit was made up for by how expensive each perk got as you continued to buy them. But I don't want them to remove perks like Mule Kick or even Death Perception, because I would love having those perks and I don't want them to remove it just to reintroduce them as DLC later in the lifecycle. I feel like that's cheapening the experience that zombies could be at launch. I don't know where to go from here. There are so many positives about each and every perk system that we've gone through today, even Black Ops 4, but there are also so many drawbacks. It's times like these I'm happy I'm no game developer. Luckily, the beautiful people at Treyarch are pretty good at what they do, and I'm so excited to see what systems they decide to come up with. After all, I was pretty worried about the Cold War perk system when I first saw it, but Treyarch did a great job of proving me wrong. They tend to do that quite a bit. Check out that video, join my Discord, subscribe for more of the best zombie content on YouTube, and as always, stay beautiful.